Greetings. This is RC Scotty doing a astrology horoscope for July the 3rd, 2018. I want to show you planetwatcher.com. It shows the daily transits, and I love to check it because you can go back and forth with day, month, year, even hours. So it's a great thing to track. So let's go into screen share here. I hope you can see it. So let's talk about some of the transits. Get a little annotation. So today the moon is in Pisces, conjunct Neptune. Here we go, right here. Oh. There we go. And it's in a grand trine with Jupiter in Scorpio, and Sun in Cancer. This is wonderful water energy. There is a lot of shadow as well, though, because I feel Jupiter and Scorpio wants us to look at our personal boundaries as well as our the unconscious. Neptune is kind of the collective unconscious, and with the moon there is our emotional nature. Neptune is spirituality, can also be delusion. So there's always, at least two or more different ways we can look at the energy. Sun in Cancer is sensitivity. Solar energy in Cancer, I think, gives us illumination of our emotional awareness. Personally, I've been feeling very emotional. A lot of stuff going on for me, but let's just focus on the transits. So that grand trine is a nice foundation of, I think they're working together. Is that it also is actually forming a bit of a kite, I believe, because Jupiter and Neptune are both sextiling Pluto in Capricorn. And Jupiter is, loosely sextiling Saturn, Capricorn. So all of this water and Earth is nourishing, and Pluto and Saturn are pretty heavy planets in general, and I feel this water energy is really asking us for, when we take command and responsibility, Saturn, for evolution, Pluto, then of our emotions with these three water planets, then we can transform. And because our emotions are the foundation, they're so powerful. They are almost like the blueprint or the foundation of our experiences. They set a tone. It's almost like a color. So what else we got going on? So the moon is, we talked about that. The moon is quincunxing, moon in Pisces, quincunxing Venus in Leo. Actually is forming a finger of God between Pluto. So this to me is quite an intense energy. The finger of God, they say, is pointing to a gift that needs work. Is that quincunx is adjustment. Sextile is like two planets really working together. So Neptune and Pluto, pretty transformational. It's the spirit of the moon, our inner world, and then Pluto is a transformation of Capricorn. For me, is we're really changing the world structures, and I've seen this last 10 years, 6, 7, 8 years. Pluto's been Capricorn. I've got a massive Capricorn stellium, so I really resonate. But I feel this finger of God is pointing to, when we do the work of connecting to spirit and serving in a practical way, either wherever way we work or transformation. When we do those things in a dynamic combination, for me, it's like when I'm working at my health food store I put a spiritual component when I'm in. I feel it's like spiritual service. I connect with the souls of people, and it's very practical Capricornian because it's business. And also it's a health food store where I work, so it's food, which is earth energy. The quincunx to Venus, though, in Leo is, I feel, we have to adjust our ego. Because Venus in Leo is beautiful because it's creative, it's wanting to shine and wanting us to express our flair, but there can be a shadow of being self-absorbed, narcissistic. I see this with most people actually. They're so wrapped up in themselves that they actually either don't care or are unaware of others. Neptune really taps us into the empathy of oneness consciousness, unity consciousness. Pluto, it's evolve or die, is ruthless. It wants us to evolve, and if we don't, then we're going to, have karmic consequences, especially with Saturn and a little bit proximity. So yeah, that's that part. Mercury is conjuncting the North Node, which is like really amplifying Leoanian energy of what is our passion, how do we connect our desires with our destiny. So this is a challenge. There's a T-square here though, so we can see it's loosely T-squaring Jupiter in Scorpio, Uranus and Taurus, and opposing Mars retrograde in Aquarius. First of all, the T-square of Jupiter, Scorpio, for me is it's the boundary of our ego and our shadow. Because if we're not aware of our ego, then we project our shadow, which is like an unconscious part of ourselves. Many of you are aware of this kind of psychology. It's very, very prominent for my awareness because I have Leo Moon, Leo Rising conjunct. So, and also I have Mercury in Aquarius. So I have this nature of being detached mentally, but emotionally saturated with my lunar nature and rising. So I know all about this connection with the shadow and the healthy ego. It's because, this is the sun. We're made of light, and when we project that light, it can be beautiful, especially with Mercury, our passions. And then we have right on cue about loud noise. What's in the background. Such is the times. I live in the middle of the matrix, but hey, that's another story. So, yeah, it's kind of like I think Mercury's asking us to look at our, what we want for our destiny, but connecting that with our deep desires of Scorpio. Because if we don't understand our emotional depth and what we need to feel satisfied, then we will project our ego in many ways, and I see all the time. Uranus in Taurus square is to me more about the inner nature. Taurus is like it's Venusian, it's that sensuality. But with Uranus, there's a real eccentricity because Uranus with Aquarius squares. See, they're squaring Mars, and so there's a kind of an edgy energy. I feel square to the North Node and Mercury for me is it's understanding that if we must nourish ourselves, our physical needs like healthy nutrition, healthy food, self-love. Self-love would kind of be more Leo energy because that's life, but it could be considered Taurus as well. That's a good question. Leo to me is more expressive. Leo to me wants to express and act towards others. It's more projecting because this is what the sun does. It projects energy. and wants to receive the attention. I know this with my Moon Leo rising. There's a lot of reflective energy with that. But Uranus and Taurus, I think it wants us to be self-reliant more and not be so attached to the expectations of others. Because Uranus is also squaring Mars, and that's really getting into this Mars retrograde. I'm feeling it really, really strongly. Mars wants just to drive forward, but retrograde is it's going inward and readjusting our awareness. Aquarius is like that detached bird's eye view of what is the bigger picture? What is our place? What is the age of Aquarius? How do we, with Mars there, what do we do? How do we build it? The square of Mars to Aquarius to Uranus is pretty intense. Yeah, it's pretty intense energy. My guess would be Taurus can be a little self-absorbed, just kind of a little bit like Leo in a different way. And Aquarius is much more detached. It wants just us to do that service, the service to the collective, unity and diversity. When we unite with our gifts, share them, and collaborate, then we can really create healing. But if we're too focused on ourselves, then we can forget about healing others. There is a dynamic balance, and I really feel that the square. I don't always see squares as negative. I feel them there is a challenge. Is when we see two different ways of doing things, and by learning and observing, especially with Aquarius, you can observe. Taurus can be so in its own sense they can maybe not see, a little bit like Leo. And this is the opposition of Aquarius Leo. I feel that it's an interesting one, this opposition. It's Mercury, our mind, in Leo, and Mars in Aquarius. That's something to meditate on. So let's see what else. Mercury is quincunxing Saturn. And it's trining. That's kind of cool. So Mercury is quincunxing Saturn. So definitely we have to be responsible about our thoughts. I have a very weird sensation of not being able to control my thoughts and having negative thoughts come up a lot. And I think this is a common thing because quite often we realize with Saturn, we have to be responsible because everything we do has a cause and effect, like karma, planet of karma, Saturn, and time lord. And when we I have Saturn 5 planets in Capricorn, so I've got a lot of that energy. And when I take action and steps and manage things and be very, very careful, then my crazy mind can be tamed, and I can put its good use. It's kind of like a pet, our ego. I like that analogy. They can be a protector, like a dog, guard dog. But if we don't tame it, then it can be wild and can be crazy and bark and just be a wild animal. And with Leo, there's that sense of pride, and I think it's healthy to kind of let our inner child out, especially because there's that purity of the inner child that I think is absolutely beautiful. It's just completely instinctive, and this is the instinctive energy that trine with Mercury to Chiron. Chiron in Aries is healing our ego. And it's this kind of dynamic. I think it's the harmonious trine is Aries instincts, Leo expression. I think this is really important because if we repress our instincts, the square from Chiron to Saturn, if we're too controlling with that Saturn energy, then Aries can just lash out. I've got quite a bit of Aries energy, midheaven, Venus, Jupiter, and my Aries energy works best when I just follow my gut, my intuition, and just in a reasonable way. Because if we just go over our instincts all the time, things can get a little out of hand. So Saturn, just a little bit disciplined, and I think we just kind of go with the flow. And Chiron is sextiling Mars, which is kind of cool, dynamic energy, a little bit bigger perspective on how we can heal our ego. There's a lot of intelligence with Aquarius, and Aries can be kind of brash and not really think about things. So I think with Aquarius, it helps us to look at the bigger picture. All right, what else we got? Kind of going skipping around here, just going with the flow of this. Talked about the Sun. Sun is quincunxing Mars. It's going to be opposing Pluto soon. Yeah. It's past Saturn, so definitely we've been with our emotions, understanding that our sense of home, our sense of security is like the foundation of our lives, but combining that with our outer responsibility for work and with groups and have the opposition is just showing us the polarity of like where we need to kind of balance things out. This opposites can attract the opposition. When it comes to Pluto, though, I think it's going to be a lot more heavy. Pluto is all about transformation, evolution, death, rebirth, and I think Sun in Cancer, it's great to be in touch with our emotions, but if we're too emotional, I find this, I feel like I'm just really vulnerable, and there is beauty to vulnerability, but we need to be disciplined. Capricorn's all about discipline, and because we can just be like a ball. I can't think of images, like just being washed by the tides. We're too emotional and just we're easily affected and weak. And I think Pluto and Saturn want us to be really disciplined so that we can manage our emotions, emotional responsibility. Because if we know the time to be open, to choose the moment to be vulnerable with especially intimate others, then there's a beautiful power that can come with Pluto, and that can transform us. So yeah, I think that's gonna be cool. It'll be come up later on the week. So I think I'll leave it at that for today. I want to do these more often. I think astrology is absolutely amazing. How these transits can reflect the experiences that we're all going through. I think we're in very intense times, but when we work with the planets, then we can become more empowered instead of being a victim and unaware. This is this Neptune energy. Moon and Neptune is really showing me that if we're not aware of our unconscious, then we are. Was it something? It's a quote that psychologist said. Carl Jung. I think he said. I can't remember, but it's like basically if we're aware of. It says something like enlightenment is not like only some utopia of light, which is one part, but it's making the unknown revealed, which is that trine of Jupiter. Jupiter really wants us to see the underside. And in my personal experience, because I've done a lot of healing with my physical diet and energy healing type things, I see a lot of darkness everywhere in the collective unconscious. So a lot of people don't want to see the dark, and I don't blame them because it's not pleasant. But if we don't look at the dark, it rules us. It's kind of like a shadow, or like analogy would be not cleaning. If we don't like clean something in our home, then it's going to attract bugs. Like and we sweep sometimes the carpet, some food, or if we don't clean that, then it's going to ferment. It's going to attract bugs, and it's going to get worse and worse. And even if we hide it, we think it's gone, we don't see it. It's still there. And it's exactly the same in a metaphorical way with our psyche, our body, and our emotions. So I think the most empowering thing with this grand trine is connecting, seeing the shadow, and when we see the shadow, not to fear it, to surrender it to spirituality, because the emotions of Pisces are connected to something higher power, where we have faith and devotion. I have a Pisces sun, and the trauma I experience is I can't even describe it. I feel like I'm in hell quite often. But when I have that sense of faith and that emotional connection, to a higher power, then all of this stuff, this noise, it's just like a facade. Neptune is all about reality and delusion. And we can see the delusion when we connect to Neptune. But when we see it, we can have an opportunity to create our own dream. This is kind of quincunx to Venus and Leo through our relationships. My natal sun in Pisces, quincunx is my moon rising. So I see Neptune as like the movie of life, and the movie is like a dream. But then the Leo energy is like how we act. We all act. Everything we do is an act. And everything we do is a choice every second. So it can be very empowering. But if we don't look at the dream, we don't kind of visualize and have our imagination, then we'll live someone else's dream. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of bizarre and dark agendas out there. And if we don't, it's not to be fearful, but it's just like anything. If we don't take responsibility, Saturn, Pluto, then we're at the mercy of whatever someone else wants you to do. And that is kind of simple, but to me it's like a karmic thing. We have this gift of life, and it's our responsibility to take advantage of it. And I think it's really about self-love and love to others, and being creative, which is that Leo energy. And Neptune is seeing the wonder of, there's a mystery. And with Cancer, completing that grand trine is that beautiful feeling, like the of home, and with family, and how we're all human family, and the emotional unity that we can have when we bond, to me, is what makes life worthwhile through all the struggle, because it's our unity that makes us who we are, and we're all connected. And these transits in the universe, I really wants us to realize that. But our ego, through a lot of survival stuff of Leo, especially, and Mars, and there's just long stories, thousands of years of these agendas, and talk about this another time. But there's just a lot of messed up stuff, and when we work with these energies, it seems that we're being supported. It's like kind of meeting in the middle. When we have the intention to serve something greater, spiritual service, this is, yeah, a connection I have with Neptune. Because the opposite of Pisces is Virgo, and it's like service and work, duty. And when we serve in a spiritual way, then I feel it's wonderful because we help ourselves, Leo, and we get the satisfaction of making other people happy. I think this is how we can adjust it when it comes of Neptune. We use our ego as a medium, as a conduit, a channel, or source. I have a mantra I say often. I surrender myself and soul in spiritual service to source. I'll leave you all with that. I hope you enjoyed this, and I promise I will do this more often, because sharing is caring. I actually want to be an astrologer. I feel by doing this, I follow many astrologers, and I feel it's time that I start doing little dailies, and so thanks for listening.